Is there any body of people out there in this country who are truly interested in selling dangerous cars? Terrorists would be one. They wouldn't mind at all. The other would be the United States government. The United States government stands behind firmly the idea of building dangerous cars. It has been their practice. It has been their destiny since 1975, when CAFE standards were introduced, to make more dangerous cars to be sold to Americans. You know, when it comes to automotive safety, that's been their number one, well, automotive engineering, that's their number one concern, is to get better fuel standards, you must make the cars more dangerous. And they have insisted year after year after year that cars be made increasingly dangerous so that more and more people die in the cars, as long as we supposedly save a few gallons of gas, which we don't, and make our air cleaner, again, which we don't. What happens is that as the mileage gets better and better on a car, people tend to drive them more often, and there goes your fuel savings. So the numbers here come from none other than the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. They should know what they're talking about, right? That's the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. And their estimates are, this goes back to 2003, that in the course of making lighter cars and lighter trucks, between the model years of 1996 and 1999, I'll say that's inclusive and give them 4 years, the rates of building lighter trucks translated into additional traffic fatalities of 13,606 for light cars, 10,884 for heavier cars, and 14,705 for light trucks. Now, my math on the fly, which isn't the greatest, puts that at right around 38,000 deaths in 4 years, or about 10,000 people a year. What if Toyota came up with a design plan for a car that they admitted up front would probably kill an additional 10,000 people a year? What might the government have to say about that? They may find themselves in general disagreement with the game plan. What if Ford came up with a plan to design a car, change the design of their cars, so that an additional 10,000 people a year would die behind the wheel? I think the same United States government would drag them in for some hearings pronto, let me tell you. But what is, in fact, the practice of the United States government? And that is to change the designs of cars and not care that 10,000 additional people a year die as a result. And the numbers come from the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration. And now we want to make them smaller. I mean, who are these people to drag execs of Toyota or anybody? I mean, when it comes to vehicle safety, and over the years, I'm sure everybody's been dragged in there for something. I mean, bring back the Flaming Pinto before we do something like this, although the Flaming Pinto was a byproduct of the CAFE standard. What other fun facts do we have? USA Today did a study in 1999, an analysis of crash data, said that since CAFE went into effect in 78, 46,000 people died in crashes they otherwise would have survived had they been in bigger vehicles. Let me see. Roughly, for every gallon of gas saved, in other words, every 1 mile your fuel estimate goes up, 7,700 Americans die for every mile. 7,700. Let's see. Smaller cars, such as the Chevy Cavalier and the Dodge Neon, accounted for 12,144 fatalities. That's 37% of all vehicle deaths in the year 1997. They only make up 18% of the cars. You're much more likely to die, and the government wants us to make more and more us. They want automakers to make more and more and more of these vehicles. But Toyota's the bad guy. Don't forget. Let's see, 1989, Harvard Brookings study estimated CAFE to be responsible for 2,000 to 3,900 excess occupant fatalities over 10 years in a given car model's use. Same study found CAFE resulted in a 500-pound weight reduction of the average car. As a result, occupants were put at a 14 to 27% higher risk of dying in a crash. Passengers in small cars die at a much higher rate when involved in traffic accidents. We know that. And on and on and on. So when the big brass at Toyota is hauled before the Congress, who, by the way, crafts and passes the CAFE standards, making cars increasingly dangerous, just bear in mind the body of people sitting up there pointing fingers at the 3 men sitting down there, or 5. are doing much more to kill many, many more Americans on the highway than Toyota ever could, and they're doing it on purpose, and they want to do it some more. Latest standard, by the way, we're pushing for 37 miles a gallon by 2015, probably resulting in another 50,000 deaths. 50,000. There is only one legitimate body of people in the United States of America who are in the business of making cars more dangerous, and that is the United States government. And they know it based on their own studies. And they want to do it some more. Big bad Toyota.